Tuesday night, and we are back with another episode of Goal Horns and Fight Songs. Finally had conference play this week for 8 out of the 9 teams, and I think it went mostly how we expected it to go.
Lots of splits. One sweep, a split plus one for North Dakota over you guys. Um, it looks like the conference is going to be very tight this year.
Hmm.
Even Miami, uh, they got bumped off. They took their first loss of the season to Arizona State, much like or Denver did last year. But they look much improved. They're playing well. Um, Able to earn the split though and come back Saturday and get a win 5-2 after losing 4-1. So I don't think we're going to see as big of a gap in points this year as we have in years past. I think everyone seems to be a lot tighter. But I do think it's still going to come down to like those final two weekends to see who claims the home ice and the Penrose Cup.
I think so too, and we've kind of said it every year that even with Miami being where they were, they could win on any given night. It seems like this year everybody stepped it up, and uh, I know I watched your Friday game along with our Friday game. The difference between Saturday, you guys got blown out 5-1. Uh, we got blown out too. It wasn't even close. So the teams are making adjustments way better this year, and they're all a lot more even.
Well, I mean that Saturday Western was also down two defensemen. Zach Sharp went down at some point in the week, potentially an injury at practice. It's expected to not be serious. And then nope, Jona Väisänen, he got hit late in the game on Friday night. It kind of looked like his skate caught the ice weird and twisted his knee or some sort of lower body injury. No idea how significant that is. Western decides to not tell anybody anything, unlike other schools. I mean, St. Cloud State lets you know that Tanner Henricks, who took the big hit from his older brother Ty Henricks, was going to be out for a couple of months, almost like as soon as the game was over. Um, so unfortunately, they lose a player in that incident there between the Henricks brothers. Western's down two defensemen at the moment. No clue who's coming back when. Um, so that might have played some role in it. I also think that teams that had some success, like Miami, Omaha, they had some, albeit through a different route, some familiarity with each other. We talked about at the beginning of the year how much Noreen went and looked for players that he had coached previously from his USHL team. UNO went real heavy into Canadian players and got, I think, like a group of 5 guys from Alberta University or the University of Alberta, however they phrase it. So there is some familiarity there. Uh,
Hmm.
a lot of people are talking about this Western team not looking as good as last year's team, and I would like to point out that 22 guys on this team have less than a year or less playing with each other, less than 50 games.
Yeah.
Uh, the leadership group, is mostly juniors and sophomores. There's 2 seniors on the team who've been at Western for the majority of their career, just due to guys either transferring out or signing pro deals early. You have Kirk Larson, who played, I think, a total of 5 games for Western. He's been mostly a practice goalie. And Sam Sholin, who had to sit out his first year with the team because of playing in an adult league or some semi-pro league before he came to college. Um, Other than that, of the 5 seniors, everybody else is a transfer of some sort. Either they're transferring in for their senior year this year, or they transferred in last year, like who was it? Liam Valente, transferred in as a
Oh yeah.
junior. His second year at Western is as a senior, and then they had a transfer in this year who was a senior. Um, so just not a lot of familiarity like we'd seen the last couple of seasons when you had guys who were, I mean, the last 3 years there was a number of guys who had been at the program 4 and 5 years, due to the COVID rules and stuff. So young team, I think Denver's kind of in a similar situation where they're just going to have to rely heavily on some freshmen this year and some sophomores and really build up that senior class again. Even Western's junior class, you have Cole Kreuzberg Rosine and Owen Michaels are the only two players on that junior roster or class that have played together a significant amount of time. Uh, Sadlowski is a junior. He's played one season of games. He was redshirted his freshman year, so this is really his second season playing. Uh, Otherwise, another bunch of group of transfers. Zachariah Wisdom, his first year with the program after spending two with Colorado College. Grant Slukinski's on his second year in the program, so kind of basically in the same spot as Sadlowski is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Cole Spicer hasn't played yet. They're still trying to figure out his eligibility status. It's to me, it's really seeming like it might be next semester once he gets his grades figured out, or at least starts taking classes or has some grades that
Right.
they can really bank on. Um, a lot of quite a few of the sophomores, if they didn't transfer out, they redshirted last year. They're starting to get games now, um, and Western really avoided injuries well last year, and this year they seem to have caught in a little bit of the injury bug, missing again, like I said, two defensemen, which did not help Hampton out whatsoever in that Saturday game when the defense kind of went back to not playing well and giving up a lot of second and third chances and just allowing guys in on Hampton, which seems to be a weakness for him.
Yeah, and that's something that I've noticed. A difference in both our teams. Where last year, you guys were very sound defensively. We were not, and yeah, Guyon was making he was making freshman mistakes. It's just another level up. But what are you going to do? We had Zach Sandy, who was just not up to the task, and now he's on North Dakota, living out a dream of being on the team of his favorite team growing up. Um, but you had two freshman goalies otherwise. Neither one of them were solid. They were going to make freshman mistakes. I mean, they were solid enough to give you a chance, but not where they're going to win you games. They relied on the team in front of them. We didn't have that defense. You guys did. Now the roles are reversed, but sometimes you hear things like, oh, well, your goalie has to be a leader. They don't look as sharp. In what I watched of Western games, there's no goalie. You can be the the best goalie in the world, the best goalie ever. The chances that are being given up, there's no chance. I mean, th- that was it 6-5 overtime for you guys?
No, Friday was a regulation 6-5 game.
Oh, regulation 6-5. I couldn't remember if it went overtime or not. Um,
No, it
but
did not. That was
kind of both teams didn't really seem to want to win that game in a sense of there were just chances galore. And what's a goalie supposed to do?
I,
You,
I don't know that that was really the feel of the game. I feel like that one was really just punch counter punch. Western got out early uh, due to some penalty trouble. Their power play was actually 3 for 3 on Friday, which kind of saved them. Uh, their penalty kill was solid. They kept the top ranked power play off the board, or maybe it was only. I think they gave up one, and it was on a 5-on-3 situation when Henricks was given the major, and they took a second penalty early in the second period to make it a 2-2 game. But really, it was yes, they were giving up some offensive chances, but Western responded every time that St. Cloud tried to put pressure on them. And St. Cloud did not give up in that game. They were down 2 goals multiple times and fought back and tied the game. And Western was able to answer back and maintain the lead. So that one really felt more like neither team wanted to lose and they were both fighting for the win, as opposed to a game where like it just seems like neither team is trying to. They're not into it the same regards, but I do think that both teams were trying to come out with that first win to open conference play with 3 points.
I will say some of those moves on the goals for both teams were absolutely nasty. Um, my brother and I, we were watching. We had UMD on my computer, and then your game on the TV, and it was like, oh wow,
Yeah, Whitelaw had a disgusting backhand,
yeah. It was like
which I think might have
we,
been ended up being the game winner.
we just looked at each other. We're like, what are you supposed to do? Um, UMD North Dakota Friday night was again UMD hockey. Saturday there was just no defense, and yes, North Dakota had some disgusting goals as well. I think one might have made play of the week or something, but um, it was just a tale of two different games. And I think that you can kind of see it even looking at scores across the conference as far as what we're doing and what teams have.
Oh, they were 2 for 6 on the power play Friday, not 1 for Western 3 for 3, St. Cloud 2 for 6 on Friday. So again, I mean, we knew special teams were going to be big in that one. But yeah, no, I watched a little bit of the North Dakota UMD series, and again, those teams looked closer than they have in the last couple of years, especially last year, uh,
Yeah,
which is kind of surprising because North Dakota was not great last year either. But um, everyone just feels, and we were kind of questioning North Dakota coming into conference play, but I did say that they somehow find a way to play different in conference play, even if they struggle in the non-conference, and we're kind of seeing it again already. Um, they do come away with 4 points to Duluth's 2, losing in overtime on Friday, but getting the reg win on Saturday. Um, Omaha, the lone team that swept, and it did not look easy though. I will say that that was a battle between two solid goaltenders, and it always is when those two teams meet. Like Cozy, able to earn the wins as well as Player of the Week this week,
yeah. I
or
think what
Goaltender of
did
the
he
Week.
have? 50? Did I hear 50 some saves?
Probably they just let that
Uh,
dude be a puck magnet.
let's see. Hang on. Look this up here.
I don't necessarily agree with
Um,
the defensive strategy that Omaha will sometimes run.
49 saves on Friday.
Yeah,
Let's see what he had on Saturday.
it's no. Actually, I don't. Wait, did he play? No, he didn't play Saturday. They
No,
brought in their
he,
backup.
yeah, that's right. He didn't.
They
But
let Dawson play on Saturday.
yeah,
I knew that.
um, oh, that was kind of the go back to North Dakota UMD. Uh, that was something that North Dakota did on Saturday is Homer did not play back to back, and I don't know if they've been doing that all year or not. Um, but I would have expected Homer to be the number one after transferring in from Arizona State.
I mean, I
And
think both guys transferred in. They might be doing kind of that, like, figure out who's going to be the starter type thing. Maybe they go Gibson Homer now though, just because he has the NCHC experience.
yeah, well, I mean, he lost and the other guy
Oh,
won.
did they do split again?
Yeah, they did the split against us, and
I didn't watch. The only game I watched Saturday was Western because I was still technically working, but I had the Western game on because I'm going to.
yeah, they did the split again, and that worked. And I don't know. I don't think really think. I think we had two power play goals on Friday. I have to look.
Friday. You went 1 for 3. Omaha went over, or you went 1 for 3.
Okay,
UND went over 2 on Friday.
but we did have a shorty in there as well.
Well, you didn't ask about shorties. You just asked about power play goals. And
I know,
yeah,
but that's
your
what I was thinking. Is
first goal
special
of the game
teams
was
goal.
shorthanded, as was North Dakota's.
Yeah,
2
yeah.
shorthanded goals in
So,
that game.
uh, but it is a little interesting. Sometimes Omaha with Latkozy, it seems like they pull a page out of the Miami playbook and with person and just kind of hope your goalie uses his body to get in front of as many pucks as possible and gives you a shot. They are more talented than when person was playing at Miami. Uh, that's for sure. But I think if you stop about 50 shots, you kind of deserve to have the night off.
Yeah, and I mean Dawson did not play bad at all. I did catch a little bit of that here and there, um, but did not see a lot of the Saturday games. Did not watch any of the Miami Arizona State game. Did not watch any of Denver hosting Alaska Anchorage. Um, so I have no clue on those ones.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, it just looking at scores, uh, the
Interesting.
Arizona State Miami series, that kind of makes you question it because it's the first series. Is Miami legit? Like, are they actually kind of a solid team now? Or is Arizona State further down? And that's research that we really haven't delved into. It's gonna just need to give it a couple of other series. I think Denver with their start this year, and then splitting with Alaska. That's
I just looked at it again. Denver only has 3 seniors,
yeah. So that kind of goes back to
and
what you're saying there.
and the only one that I know for sure has been there the whole time is Rieger Lorenz.
Yeah, Lorenz has been there the whole time, but
Yeah, I don't know if the other two have or not. Their
yeah,
names just don't seem familiar to me.
and you know what? There's nothing. It's weird having a Denver team like that because we've always said they reload, they don't rebuild, they reload. But sometimes, even if you're reloading, it might take a couple, like a year or two, just to build that chemistry. Even half a season, you might not start out right away. Um, and actually, our friend Paul put it best is talking about Western. The talent is there. You have the ingredients. Can the chef put it together? And I really liked it because you know what you want to make. You know you have the ingredients. It just takes a couple tries to get it to where you want it to be.
Yeah, I mean we've definitely seen flashes from a lot of the teams already that it's going to be very competitive hockey this year. Um, Even look at Duluth. I mean, Duluth really ended the season completely different from how they started it last year, and they were leaning on a lot of young guys. Uh,
Hmm.
it's I think their experience is carrying them more this year, and they're having success early because of the fact that they did have to kind of lean on those freshmen, and those freshmen had to step up and take on heavier loads than maybe they were expecting to or wanted to right away. But it's created a good hockey team there. Um, and I think every couple of years, if you have a young team, it just shows that you're producing a high volume of pro players. Now, again, some of that is transferring out, but a lot of the transferring seems to be underclassmen, a few upperclassmen here and there, but a lot of it does still it tends to be, I think, kind of the younger guys looking for playing time or knowing that there might be a highly touted kid coming up and thinking that playing time is going to be limited more so if if they redshirted their first year. So
Yeah, and
if you don't have an old team, there's a couple reasons why, but I think even that'll kind of figure itself out. I still don't think we're going to see like we see in basketball, um, one and done teams trying to make runs deep, because even that's not super successful.
right, there's a lot of teams that, I mean, in basketball, Kentucky with Calipari, he kind of started the one and done roster, and they have not won that many championships. Yes, very, very good players, but not winning championships. Um, I think guys are going to start staying longer. And yeah, I don't blame the guys that are leaving for playing time. Like I even said this, I think maybe a couple of weeks ago with Knapp transferring out. He realized, oh, well, you know what? I don't think this is going to be my net next year the majority of the time. I'm going to go where I can be the number one goalie. And then you have a few of the older guys like Zach Sandy. He knows he's not going to really play anywhere, but he just wants to go for his hometown team or quote unquote hometown uh, team he grew up cheering for. Probably got in contact with the new regime that was put in place and said, "Hey, thinking about transferring. Would you guys have me?" They said yes, so he transferred there. Good for him. Uh, but I think we're going to see a lot more guys where, unless they're to the level of a McAllister or Eichel, where they can play after their first year and they know it, they're going to stay 2, 3 years because that's typically been the pattern. And it all depends on who's talking in their ear. But usually it's, hey, just get a couple more years, then you're going to be more prepared and you can make more money down the road. And you get to be with your friends.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, it's still everything's still new. They're still figuring it out. Um, I think at some point it'll kind of settle itself in. I know a point that was made is kind of like, hockey is kind of an expensive sport. There's not a lot of guys coming into it that aren't slightly better off. Um, so the money may not mean as much to them, and we may see lower NIL deals than in football and things like that, where it's not going to be generational type wealth. But I do wonder if we're going to see guys play the game that we're kind of seeing with football and just hold the fact that they can make money in college over NHL teams heads to some degree. Now I know I get that an entry level deal is an entry level deal no matter if you're the first pick or the last pick of the draft, but I think there might be some mind games played, and we do see it a little bit, not so much on the money end wise, but just the team that drafted may not be the best fit, or they may start struggling after you've been drafted, and so you hold the keys like, oh, I can just play one more year at college and my rights will expire, or you could trade me, kind of like we saw this summer happening with Isaac Howard. Um, so I think we might see maybe that increases a little bit, but I do think that we're starting to see that the talent pool has made hockey a lot closer of a sport, which this is not a bad thing.
No, it's definitely not a bad thing because, I mean, everyone outside of your own team winning, I think not everyone, but a lot of people like parity in whatever sport they watch. Because at a certain point, yes, you can appreciate the greatness of what you're watching in a team's dynasty, whether it be, Golden State in the NBA, the Patriots, or now the Chiefs in the NFL. Uh, kind of Florida, Tampa, or back in the early 2000s when you had the Kings and the Blackhawks winning every other year. You can appreciate it, but at a certain point, you want someone different. And that's why I'm like, okay, sweet. The Dodgers won the World Series last year, but I want Toronto to win this year. And yeah, they were like the first and fifth payrolls. So it wasn't like some underdog story for Toronto,
Right.
but just some parody where it's fun to have a new champion each year outside of your own team.
Yeah,
And
no, for sure.
as far as NIL goes, I think I told you this. It was my response. I don't know how it's going to work, and this is something just like now we don't have the COVID rules, how these rosters are going to be rebuilt and how kids are going to play. But a lot of these schools that have Division 1 hockey programs aren't big schools, even if they are Division 1 in football or basketball. It might be FCS and the mid majors. Outside of the Big Ten, there's really not that many big schools. So I don't know how that money is going to be allocated, but there's probably not a whole lot coming in. You have like BU and BC, they're Division 1. BC's in the ACC. Um, trying to think of who else though. Really, like,
I mean, I think a lot of it depends on the player and just having the right donors. Like you don't have to have a ton of money, you just have to have the right people with the right money, right? Like
mm-hmm,
uh we keep talking about the new stadium coming to Kalamazoo. It went from like 150 million to 300 million. I think it's like 512 million was the final, or 520 million was the final estimated cost for this damn thing. And that's coming from one family. Like it's one donor putting up their own money to build the damn thing. Uh, and the I don't want to say the expectation, but the wording was that when it becomes profitable, it'll be donated to the school. Western's not a rich school. I mean, they've gotten some good donations for their medical program. Uh, this for the hockey program. They've had donors donate to redo the locker rooms for the basketball teams, to make renovations to the football field. They just had a sponsor pay, I think, like $5 million or something to get the naming rights to the field at the Waldo Stadium, for the football team. It's North Dakota is good because there's people who care about the program and want to donate money or donate to build a building, like uh, Engelstead did. Um,
mm-hmm.
there's clearly money coming into some of these programs. St. Thomas is building a brand new arena. They had there were donations made to get the team to Division 1. There was money donated to ASU to get the team to Division 1 to build Mullet Arena. Uh, if you
Yeah,
get
St. Thomas was a little bit different. They kind of had to donate because they were forced out of their conference.
Yeah,
Uh, so
but I'm just saying, like, it's once people find a reason to care about something, and you find the right people with that want to better the situation, or they want their name on a building, or they want to be um, a part of something, there will be a way and an opportunity for it to happen, and maybe that we won't see another $750,000 player, or whatever the actual number for McKenna ends up actually being or is. We
mhm,
won't see tens of millions of dollars like they do in the NFL, but if he's given $750,000, that number is extremely close to what he would be making on a entry level deal for a year.
mhm.
And
It's like
and
865 or something like that,
yeah,
or 875.
if he's in the NHL, and if he's projected to go first overall, he has a high likelihood of being in the NHL. But if he's not, then he makes AHL money, and he's
Mhm,
making more playing college hockey than he would be in the AHL. Hell, that's a reason why there's a player in the NCHC right now, because he could make more, or he did not make enough to cover a year of hockey or more than what his scholarship plus the cost of hockey would have been. Like, that was literally the wording, and the dude played like 10 games in the AHL last year and a full season in the ECHL. So if you're a player who's potentially leaving early, but the NHL team says, well, we want to bring you in. Maybe we'll have you do some preseason games, but we really think you're going to start in the AHL next year. And you're going to make, what, 75,000, 125,000, give or take, might be the high end for the AHL on a rookie deal or whatever.
Yeah, I think I saw somebody. It was like they signed and it was 70,000 AHL.
Yeah. So, they could go, well, I can make 120 or I can make 100,000 and stay another year in college because I'm only a junior or a sophomore. Oh, my rights expire after next year? That's fine, because I'm making more than I would have playing in the AHL for a year and not having a guarantee that I'm still going to go to the NHL the next year. When now my rights expire, I can be a free agent, or I could sign with that team before the deadline or whatever it is. So I think we might see some games like that. I wouldn't put it past it with the amount of agents and dudes in people's ears and stuff that we're not privy to.
Yeah, and I will say the counterpoint to me even saying the NIL stuff is, like you said, North Dakota, you have the right people, but there's not a whole lot around it. And a lot of these programs, there's not a whole lot around those cities. I mean, yes, Gophers, Big Ten, sweet. You have Minneapolis and everything. But then you have Mankato, you have St. Cloud, you have Bemidji, Duluth, Kalamazoo. There's or like a Ferris, Northern Michigan, all these different schools that are smaller schools around the country that they produce successful people that have wealth. It's just, do they care about hockey? But if they do, then yeah, that argument's going to help those schools, which, I mean, you can make that argument the other way. The Big Ten schools, they might not put as much money towards that because you have your football and your basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Like Mark Cuban has now started funding NIL for Indiana. Well, that dude's got more money than he knows what to do with. So you just got to find the right people.
Yeah, and I look at how much money Oregon gets from Nike, and have their entire existence, at least since Nike's been around. But now they can put it directly towards the athletes if they so choose. They don't have to donate strictly to the school with 75 versions of their football uniform every year.
I do like their uniforms though.
They do got some pretty slick ones.
But
all right, let's look at this weekend ahead. Some pretty solid matchups. Miami has the bye this week. They're not playing at all. Nice little chance for them to rest and recover after a great start to the year. Some old rivalries renewing. North Dakota makes the trip down to Omaha, play each other. Always a great series between those two teams. A lot of transfers in between the two. Goalie wise, I think the edge goes to Latkozy. But I think a lot of these games are going to be a lot tougher to pick than we thought. And it could be another weekend where there's a whole lot of splits.
That's what I'm leaning towards, just looking at the schedule.
Denver makes the trip to Kalamazoo this weekend. Hopefully they don't forget their sticks. And if you don't know what that means, you should go look up a couple years ago. I think 2017.
Yeah,
I
know what it means.
When they were the number one team in the country and had to practice without sticks because they couldn't get them on there. They didn't get them on the flight. Colorado and Arizona State at Arizona State, and then a good old fashioned Minnesota dogfight in
Yep.
St. Cloud. St. Cloud also playing 3 games in, what is that, 4 days, 5 days, 4 days, 5 days. They have the series at Duluth, and then they finish off their series that they started earlier in the season with St. Thomas on Tuesday. So, it means that game starts at 8. We'll probably end up watching the last part of that game live on stream.
Yeah. Well, it is technically a St. Thomas home game.
Ooh, that's right. It's on Midco. Never mind. We will not.
Yep.
I mean, we'll follow along with it for sure.
I'll be able to watch it.
Well, you can watch it and you can tell me what's going on, and then I'll just
Yep.
make stupid faces and comments.
Yeah, because it's local here. But yeah, that's. I mean, I think I expect. I kind of expect a split in all 4 series this weekend. Um, the one that I could see being a sweep potentially is your series. Um, that's because I think you have the goaltending edge, and Denver hasn't quite figured it out yet.
Well,
But
neither has Western. I was gonna say I think I was gonna say the other way. I think Denver could very well sweep that series the way one the Western defense has been playing as of late. Uh, but more importantly, the fact that they're down 2 defensemen. So we'll see who is back. Um, if they get one or both of them back, I think that greatly helps Western. Uh, Denver also looking to get some revenge on this Western Michigan team. They have lost the last 2 that they played, and I think 3 out of the last 4. I don't think they played 2 series last year. But they split in Kalamazoo. Sort of. I think it was like a win for Western and an overtime win for Denver last season when they were here. And then, the 2 double overtime games, both in the NCHC tournament finals and at the Frozen Four. So Denver looking to maybe right some wrongs or try to get a little bit of revenge for those senior players and Coach Carl. So
I could.
they're definitely gonna come in and try and dictate play and right the ship. And it's their first NCHC series, so they're going to be looking to get some points and keep track with everybody else in the conference. Yeah, 3-2 loss, and then for Denver, and then a 3-2 overtime win for Denver last year in Kalamazoo in December, and then the 2 double overtime losses.
Our series, just going through a little bit. St. Cloud, they are much improved compared to last year. Yes, they did deal with a lot of injuries last year. Seeing what they can do offensively, I think, depending on who wins the first game, they'll either they'll figure out their offense because we've seen it can be potent, or we'll figure out our defense. It's just a matter of who wins the first game, which adjustments are made, because our defense has been very tight. But if it's not where we saw it on Saturday, not so much.
Big key: stay out of the box. St. Cloud State still has one of the best penalty kill or power plays in the country. They
We
connected
have
on a
one of the
couple.
best PKs though too.
They connected on a couple 5-on-3s because Western could not stop taking penalties. Apparently, we're back to that. But I think that just speaks to the inexperience of the team.
I think we've only given up 5 or 6 power play goals.
Let's see. But
We were right around 90% on Friday. And I think that was only like we had given up 5 maybe. Might have gone down a little bit.
I think St. Cloud went down a little bit because of their performance on Friday, but I mean, they made up for it on Saturday. Because Western's back to taking like 6 freaking penalties a game.
We were at 88.2%.
Yeah, my St. Cloud is currently second on power play, 17 for 43 at 39.5%. Michigan 18 for 44 at 40.9%. And Duluth is actually 8th on the power play, 11 for 37 at 29.7%. So special teams could loom big in that one.
Yeah, on the penalty kill, like I said, we're 11th at 88.2, and let's see if I can find St. Cloud here.
Oh, they might be page 2.
I think they are page 2.
Western's 30.
Yeah, they are. They're 52nd. They're 71%. They've given up 9 goals and 31 chances.
Let's see. Penn State is still leading the country in opponent power play attempts at 51. You guys.
But hey, they've killed off 5 of them. Or they've only allowed 5 goals, I should say.
Yeah, they're at 90.202%.
They've killed off 46.
90.2.
Best percentage, though, Brown. 5-0.
There you go. Duluth and Western have both allowed 34 power play attempts. And you've given up 4 goals. We've given up 7. So, not terrible numbers, but could we please, for the love of God, stay out of the goddamn box?
Yeah, there's that.
If you're not going to play good defense, stay out of the fucking box. Make it easier on your goaltender, why don't you? But, just guessing.
And if you're the ref calling the penalty, don't say, which one would you like me to call? If he committed 2 infractions, call the 2 infractions.
Or just keep your mouth shut and just call one.
Yeah, ignore the guy complaining. You made the call, so what do you care what he says?
Yeah. What are we at here? Yep. No, we're gonna be a little bit short. We're about 45 minutes. I think we've discussed what we needed to discuss. I've got nothing else other than to say, pucks on net, good things happen, like Go Horns and Fight Songs. Until next week, we're gone. Bye.